Hey everybody, Connor here. I just wanted to take a second to talk to you about Mana Traders. It's a great online service that you can use to rent Magic Online cards. I've been using it for over 2 years to play as much Magic Online as I do. I play a lot and I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So we want to say thank you to Mana Traders for sponsoring the YouTube channel. You can use coupon code MULLMONEY, that's MULLMONEY, to get 15% off your first 3 months when you subscribe to Mana Traders, and I really couldn't recommend them highly enough. If the rental isn't enough for you, they also run a free $15,000 monthly tournament that involves, they've got a leaderboard every month and a big Swiss tournament, and you get to compete for cash prizes, and that's really cool to be able to do in COVID times. You do need to be a subscriber to get full prizes, but you don't have to subscribe to play. You still get some prizes, even if you're not a subscriber and just want to battle. Also want to take a second to talk to you about the Holiday Cube Trophy Challenge that our very own Zach Allen is going to be participating in. He's going to be teaming up with Emma Handy, Numat the Nummy, and Jim Davis, taking on LSV, Caleb Durward, Jonathan Brostoff, and Hall of Famer Gabe Nassif, competing to see who can win the most trophies in the Magic Online Holiday Cube. It's going to be happening on December 26th and the 27th. Zach is going to be streaming it over on his Twitch page. That's twitch.tv/A22EN. So go over there, watch some fun matches, hang out with Zach, and take part in some giveaways. Hope you enjoy the video. Hey everybody, Connor here for another episode of Making Magic Happen, brought to you by RIW Hobbies and Games in Livonia, Michigan. And today we've got kind of a fun one. I woke up this morning, it is Thursday, the 17th of December, woke up this morning to a text from my friend X-Whale, Will Kruger, and he said, I think that Mill is broken. And at first I was pretty skeptical, but I listened to him, and we're both preparing for this PTQ that we've got on Sunday. And right now the top decks seem to be the Red-Black Death Shadow decks, playing Scourge of the Skyclave, Death Shadow. The Green-White Titan decks, casting, Primeval Titan that Will's actually been having a lot of success with lately, and the 4-color Omnath blue decks. And Will thinks that this deck might be really well positioned to take on that field. It's a little narrow, and it's not as powerful as some of them, but when you put the right cards in the deck, you got a really good matchup. So we're going to be giving it a spin in the Modern Prelim today. Let's break it down a little bit for you. So the core of the deck is 8 copies of Hedron Crab. We've got 4 Hedron Crab, 4 Ruin Crab from one of the new sets from Zendikar Rising. And these say whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent mills 3 cards. So what we do is we combine these with a lot of fetch lands. We combine it with Oboro, Palace of the Clouds, to try to get multiple landfall triggers a turn. We do that. To mill our opponent out, we also have Mesmeric Orb, which is a 2-mana artifact, and whenever a permanent becomes untapped, its controller mills a card. So every time they tap mana, they have to mill one on their next upkeep, essentially. Maddening Cacophony, usually just a 2-mana sorcery, mill 8, but it can also be a 6-mana sorcery if the game goes kind of long, mill half your deck. There's also Archive Trap, which we can cast for free, and it mills them for 13. Cast it for free if an opponent has searched their library. Now, you may be saying, a lot of opponents don't play fetch lands. What do? Field of Ruin forces them to search their library, so there's a combo there. Now for interaction, because our opponents aren't just going to be rolling over and doing nothing while we're doing our thing, we've got 4 copies of Fatal Push and 4 copies of Bloodsheep's Thirst. And these are really good. They're good against both the blue decks that need to resolve Uro or Omnath to kill you. They're good against the Primeval Titan decks, because those decks a lot of times will have Dryad of the Elysian Grove or Elvish Reclaimer in the early game. And for obvious reasons, it's really good against the Shadow decks and the Prowess type decks. We have 4 copies of Surgical Extraction and 4 copies of Soul Guide Lantern for opponents who are doing things with their graveyard, like Surgical Extraction can tag Uro. Sometimes against the Death Shadow decks too, you can also just tag both their Death Shadow and their Scourge of the Skyclaves, and then they don't have a good way to win. So that's what those are for. And then rounding out the main deck is 4 copies of Visions of Beyond, which is 1 mana instant, draw a card. If a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, draw 3 cards instead. So late in the game, it's just an ancestral recall for us, basically a must-have. Now going over to the sideboard, got Our companion is Lurrus. Lurrus is obviously really powerful to recur both crabs. Sometimes it can recur a Mesmeric Orb that we mill. And then against graveyard strategies or decks where we just like need to be drawing multiple cards a turn, can recur Soul Guide Lantern. We have Aether Gust. There's a lot of Blood Moons running around right now and some green creature decks, so it's really good to have against those. Mystical Dispute, obviously good for the blue decks. Crypt Incursion and Profane Memento are both really powerful life gain effects for beatdown decks. And then these 5 cards here are just kind of good catch-alls. In our deck, basically anytime after turn 3, Drown in the Loch is going to be a counterspell or a terminate, whichever one we need it to be. And then Set Adrift and Engineered Explosives are just kind of catch-alls for problematic permanents. Set Adrift is 6 mana sorcery with Delve to put target non-land permanent on top of its owner's library. So, kind of simple. Main deck has a lot of 4-ofs. It's actually all 4-ofs I'm just noticing, which is really cool. So, I'm not sure if this deck is good, but it's definitely something that I might play in the Super PTQ this weekend. So, we're going to give it a spin. Hope you enjoy it. Hey everybody, welcome to round 1 of this modern prelim. Unfortunately, we've gotten paired against my friend Kyle Reichard. We are playing the same Mill 75. There are 46 people in this prelim, and so we thought that there were good odds we wouldn't get paired, but here we are. This hand is so good if I ever draw another land. I think I'm supposed to keep a hand like this. It's possible that it's loose, but I'm not mulliganing the playset of Hedron Crabs ever. Wow. Very unlucky of us to get paired in round 1. But we're going to see who can mill the other one out better. Actually in a Discord call with Kyle right now. I mute and deafen myself when I play matches, but as soon as round 1 got posted, we were both pretty disappointed. This always happens. Whenever I'm hanging out with friends in between rounds of a tournament, we always get paired. This happened in the Modern Showcase Challenge a couple weeks ago with Will Kruger, the one that he won. But looks like Kyle's on a mull to 5, unfortunately for him. His hand might be a little bit better than ours, though. Oh, man. Alright, well, hopefully he doesn't just put 4 archive traps on the table here. Alright, no archive traps. We dodged it. He has a crab of his own. I think that I should... Well... I'm going to start by attacking. Gotta let him know, you know. No blocks? That's pretty disrespectful, dude. What if I have mutagenic growth and you just took 2 for no reason? And so because he's on a mull to 5 and because we need to draw a land here, I just want this game to go as long as possible. I could have played another crab here, but I think that I would rather just get rid of his crab and make this game go a little bit longer. No, I got punished for attacking with the crab. Oh my god. That's so bad. That's so bad. Oh man. I wonder if Mesmeric Orb is even good in the mirror. Like, it's going to mill him more than it mills me this game if I had to guess. I think that this matchup is going to be all about the crabs. Another one? Oh, man. Kyle. Cost some mana to draw a card, so I think that I'm just going to cast Cacophony here. And he's already down below 30 cards, so we're pretty far ahead here, I think. He can't Field of Ruin us without us getting to make landfall triggers, so that's good. He is ahead on mana, which means that he could do Lurrus things, but I think that putting Lurrus in his hand isn't even that good because we have the Soul Guide Lantern. Alright. I think that in his draw step, I will want Surgical Archive Traps. Actually, yeah, draw step is fine. Just trying to think of ways that he can catch back up in this game. And Archive Trap is one of the big ones. Oh no, he does have one. Well, he gets to mill us for 13, but we do get to mill him for 6 here. So it's not nothing. Also taps 2 of his mana. Oh no, please don't have another one. Okay, thank God. He just has 2 lands in his hand. And then the rest of his deck is 3 Maddening Cacophonies and 1 Ruin Crab and 2 Mesmeric Orbs. Alright, so I'm feeling pretty good about this game. Third Hedron Crab. Target you. And then we kill him on his next turn with our Field of Ruins. Wow, what a game this has been. Kind of unbelievable. Alright, we got there. Alright, 1 land, 5 crab hand was good enough. Who knows what's good in this matchup? I'm going to bring in Mystical Dispute, and I'm going to bring in Drown in the Loch. I think that the key is going to be to control the crabs. I think that's going to be the key to this matchup. I don't think that we want Surgical Extraction. I'm going to bring in Engineered Explosives and cut 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, I think. It's possible I'm just completely wrong about Surgical Extraction, but I think that my main goal is to counter his mill spells and then kill his crabs. I don't really want Mesmeric Orbs, but I think that we might just need to keep them in. You know, I guess I can swap a Mesmeric Orb for a Set Adrift, but did not think I was going to be playing the Mill Mirror in a prelim when I woke up this morning. Alright, hand is solid. We're going to go ahead and keep. 2 Visions of Beyond is very, very good. Hopefully he plays a crab here so that we can just put Thirsted on turn 1. And then on turn 2 we can play our own crab and get more mill. So that's really good for us. We're going to get a Watery Grave here. Oh, don't Archive Trap me. Damn. Damn. Okay, he doesn't have more than 1 Archive Trap. That's good. It's okay. There was nothing that we could do to play around that, you know. We're going to draw Archive Traps at some point. But the good news is that this turns my Visions of Beyond on a lot faster. Wow. This is so strange. There is the Cacophony. And I am down to 30 cards in my deck just after those two. That's a very bad draw. That's a very bad draw. So I'm gonna mill him a bunch, and then I'm just gonna cast Visions of Beyond. Drawing 3 cards probably might not be very good, but I think it might just be necessary. Oh man, we both have Ancestral Recall. Hopefully I still have a land left that I can get. Just one more. Alright, and we're going to play Soul Guide Lantern here. No, oh no, he had another Archive Trap. That's so bad. Okay, I've changed my mind. The key to this matchup might just be drawing Archive Trap. Should obviously target a crab there, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. I think that I'm just dead this game. Yep, that will do it. Wow. Okay. Well then. Gonna bring Surgicals back in, I think. Yeah, I think that I should just be trying to Surgical, like, Archive and Maddening Cacophonies. I can shave down on Mesmeric Orbs. I have these 2 Engineered Explosives in just because they can be a removal spell for crabs. Because as we saw game 1, like, whoever has more crabs will probably win. Wasn't true that game, of course, but... I noticed that neither Kyle nor I boarded up on cards. That's interesting. It's possible that we should have just gone above 60 to make it, to maybe buy another turn. Do not think this hand is good enough despite it having a trap. I do like this hand quite a bit. As soon as he fetches, he dies. Alright, so he's on 7 right now. He's thinking about his 7 anyways. I'm going to keep this in bottom Engineered Explosives and just try to Goldfish. Alright, he kept 7. Looks like it might have been a little bit of a sketchy one. We'll see if he has trap here. Well, faded it. Okay. Alright, so now we just have to wait until he fetches. I'm just going to fetch now. I know he didn't have Archive Trap, but I really want to play around it as much as I can. I know it's worse if we draw another crab, but I think the downside of him drawing an Archive Trap and trapping us a couple times is much, much higher than the upside of drawing a crab and getting to mill 3 more cards. Surgical my Ruin Crab. Take a look at my Archive Traps. Oh man. I just put out a tweet saying that for a video earlier this week that I was playing Green White Titan in preparation for the PTQ. And Kyle said that because I'm testing out other decks, that means I'm lying about what I'm playing in the PTQ. All right. Well, Kyle, you can't ever fetch. Ever. Until you find a surgical for my archive traps, I suppose. When that happens. Alright, he has a Mesmeric Orb. Alright, Dispute is actually a fine draw here. I actually really like having this one. So this is a strange game that we're about to play. Oh man, he milled over 2 archive traps. That's so good for me. Okay. That's 2 lands that you can't use. You can't use your Field of Ruin. You can't crack your Polluted Delta. Otherwise, I'll mill you for 26. And then I'll have Ancestral Recall. Just going to keep passing here. We don't really need to tap mana and mill off of Mesmeric Orb, and we can just play this waiting game for a little bit. Our hand is pretty well set up for it. Oh man, what a game this is turning out to be. I'm gonna crack my fetch. Oh, I should have shocked that. That was a mistake. You have Archive Trap, dude? Well, I'm gonna dispute that. If you want to pay, you turn on my Archive Traps. Of course, if he has a dispute of his own, I'm kind of just dead here. What a weird game this is turning out to be. I think he's calculating whether or not he can afford to pay here. He cannot. Okay. It's possible I'm supposed to play my Mesmeric Orb to try to get my Visions of Beyond online. Is that good? I don't think that's good. Alright, Lurrus in your hand is fine. It might be necessary. Yep, let's try it. Only downside is this makes his Lurrus a lot better. Although he might have to fetch to cast a crab this turn, which would be fine. Our boy Kyle is deep in the tank here. I guess he can't even cast his Lurrus yet because he doesn't have double black. Man, I really wish he didn't know about these two archive traps. I might need to draw. So I think that his plan here is draw Surgical, wait until I mill over an archive trap. Oh, he's doing it. It's happening. It's happening. Alright, so it looks like I'm doing this in response here so that if he has a Mystical Dispute of his own, then he doesn't get the crab trigger. I'm going to say no. I'm going to archive trap you again. And then I do get to Fatal Push crab. Alright, so I'm feeling good about this game. I'm going to Visions of Beyond. I think I should Hedron Crab. I think I can use my last fetch here. We've already seen 3 of his archive traps. And then I just kill this Lurrus. Alright, and then he mills 10, so he's only got 7 cards left. And his 6 cards left in his deck, which means my crab kills him next turn. Alright, I think that we've done it, but I guess you never know until it's over, so we'll wait and see. Wow, what a weird game this has been. I love this. Yeah, because if he taps mana here, then he just loses to both of our Mesmeric Orbs. I'm getting milled for 8, so I'm going to have 20 cards left in my library on my upkeep. So he's milled all 4 of his archive traps. Or used all 4, rather. 1, 2... He still has 2 Maddening Cacophonies left between his hand and his library. Cacophony could be really good. But again, he can't really cast it and then cast any other spells, because then he just loses to Mesmeric Orb. So I'm not really sure what he can do with so few cards left in his library here. How many Surgicals does he have left? He has 2 Surgicals left. Could he Surgical anything that matters? I don't think so. Surgicaling my Visions of Beyond is fine, but it doesn't really do it because then I still have landfall triggers. He needs to answer my crab somehow, and then also do something. Problem is, he's limited to 3 more mana for the rest of this game, as long as Mesmeric Orbs are on the table. So he could Engineered Explosives away our Mesmeric Orbs to stop that, but then my crab just gets him. So he would need to have that plus Fatal Push, and then just be able to beat my 2 Visions of Beyond, which at that point is kind of just like a perfect hand, and I don't really think that he can put that together. So we will see. man. Alright, so I mill 8 here. I need to think of what I can draw. I just need to start drawing 3, I think. Hedron Crab is a start. So then we do that. Yeah, that does it. Cool. Alright, well, very strange game there, but we were able to get it done. We will see you for round number 2. Hey everybody, here we are for round number 2. I was a little bit late to this round, had to apologize to my opponent there, but we're playing against QB Turtle 15. Very good Magic Online grinder. They have also revealed Lurrus of the Dream Den, so it's possible they're on Mill. I'd say it's more likely that they're on Jund or Shadow of some sort, and they do lead on Stomping Ground. I think they're deciding whether or not to shock this in. Oh, wow. Okay, so they're on some sort of, like, zoo build. Interesting. So I'm just going to lead on Ruin Crab here, and then our hand seems very good against, or well, our hand is fast. It has a fast Goldfish if our Ruin Crab survives, which it might not, and that would suck if they have Searing Blaze here. Okay, they have Eidolon. That's fine. I think I just play both Ruin Crabs. It's possible that this is wrong. It's possible that I should just I should just fetch now. Just gonna get a tapped Watery Grave. I don't think that there's any reason for me to get a basic yet. Kind of unfortunate this Soul Guide Lantern's basically gonna be shut off, but we'll see how this goes. Wild Nicodolin Modern, huh? I am going to block here. If my opponent uses a Tarkus command to kill one of our Ruin Crabs, that's fine. I think that's better than us taking 2 damage. If they have Bolt for my second crab, I'm going to be sad. And here we would really like to draw Fatal Push. Or at least a Fatal Push effect to get this Eidolon off the table. What is this? Rift Bolt. Okay. I'm just going to play Mesmeric Orb. I think that we're probably just going to lose this game, if I'm being honest. I don't think that I can mill them for this many cards before they deal 6 damage to me. Especially with Eidolon on the table. But we do get some tools post-board. We get some really good tools. Alright, and Bolt to finish me off. They do have it. Alright, so after board, we get to gain life with, I believe that that's what Profane Memento does. Whenever a creature card is put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you gain 1 life. That's really good. Crypt Incursion, very good. Drown in the Lock and Ether Gust, really good. We probably also want Engineered Explosives. I want to sort by CMC, not by rarity. Surgical Extraction, no thank you, not interested. Same thing with Soul Guide Lantern, we just don't really want that. And then, what are some other things that we can cut? Maybe, yeah, we probably just don't need these Engineered Explosives, and we can cut a... can cut a Drown in the Lock. We probably have enough removal and interaction where... Actually, Ether Gust is a lot worse than Drown in the Lock. I shouldn't have done that. But here we are. We are on the play for this one. I do have like 8 Fatal Push effects, and so I'm hopeful that I'm able to draw some of those in this game, especially like Now that the blank surgical extraction and what's it called? Surgical extraction, Soul God Lantern. That's the other card. Now that those are out of my deck. And yeah, this hand is solid. We're going to go ahead and keep this. 2 crabs, plus 2 fetch lands and some interaction, plus Maddening Cacophony is a really good place to be. It's also nice that Maroon Crab is an 0-3 instead of an 0-2, meaning that it can block like turn 1 Goblin Guide, it can block Eidolon of the Great Revel, among other things. So our opponent's thinking about their 7 here. So I think that the plan with this one is to go turn 1, fetch up a basic island with Misty Rainforest, play Ruin Crab. If they put a Goblin Guide on the table, just block it. And then turn 2, play Hedron Crab, and then Bloodchief's Thirst, whatever their turn 1 play was. And see what we can do from there. Our opponent does decide to go ahead and keep 7. We'll play Ruin Crab so that we can block any Goblin Guide that comes down this turn, or maybe a Monastery Swiftspear. I guess we could block Monastery Swiftspear with Hedron Crab as well, but we want to play the bigger one first. Okay, and they just bolt it right away. They're not interested in messing around. Alright, just going to play this and start milling our opponent. We'll just get this into play tapped. Because Bloodchief's Thirst is an instant, or is a sorcery rather, we don't gain anything by holding it up, so we should just get Hedron Crab into play and get our fetch out of the way now. Lightning Helix, my Hedron Crab. Okay. So unfortunately they're not fetching again. Not after we Archive Trapped. Let's cast Maddening Cacophony. Should I? Yeah, I should just cast Cacophony here. It's going to make this Crypt Incursion a lot better when I get to do it. Let's see, you gain 3 life for each creature. So far that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right now we're gaining 15 life from this. Alright, Profane Momentum is a good one. We'll go up to 13 here. It looks like they suspended Rift Bolt. Really too bad that we drew that Archive Trap after they fetched for the only time that they have this game. They've got enough mana now that they probably just won't fetch again for the rest of the game to play around this. We probably will just fix that with Field of Ruin, I suppose. So we'll need to draw one of those at some point if we want to make use of this trap. They're pausing our upkeep, and I'm not sure what they could be thinking about here. It's possible they're thinking about whether to destroy our Profane Memento, but they could just do that in response to any mill spell that I play. I would love to just draw a land. Any untapped land would be good, but Field of Ruin would be the best one. Could go after their green source. And lands are also good here because even if our opponent never fetches again, we can still just plan to cast this Archive Trap once we hit 5. Lo and behold, we drew the best land in our deck. Alright. I'm just going to pass here. I'm going to do one of these two things in my opponent's upkeep. I'm kind of getting a read that they have Skullcrack. I don't want them to Skullcrack me. But we'll see if they use their mana on their end step here. Man, I love just drawing the best possible. Alright, so they Lightning Helix us. I think I'm going to Crypt Incursion here. I think that that's better because if I Field of Ruin them and then Archive Trap them, they do still get to Skullcrack because they would get an untapped land. So I think it's better to do it this way. Alright, so I go down to 7. I go up to 25 and they have Rift Bolt to put me to 22. Okay. So I just am going to win the game here. I'm going to Field of Ruin and Archive Trap them next turn, and Archive Trap will also gain me life because of my Profane Memento. So let me just draw another Crypt Incursion for after this trap happens. I'm going to respond to this so that they can't draw Skullcrack off of this Sunbaked Canyon. Does Atarka's Command not have Skullcrack text? Wow. I think that my opponent might have messed up there. Yeah, I'm not... Yeah, no, I think they messed up if they had Archive Trap on their radar, because now we get to Archive Trap, mill them for 13, and then we gain a life for any creature that they mill. I don't know if that's a huge deal, but they definitely should have selected can't gain life instead of boosting their non-existent creatures. Alright, so we milled, it looks like we milled another 5 creatures, which means that this Crypt Incursion is going to gain a bunch more life. And I drew Visions of Beyond, which is an excellent draw. This has been a very good draw from us. I think this is well above average, drawing a Profane Memento in both Crypt Incursions, in addition to just like a functional mill draw. So this is lucky. We're probably going to have to get a little bit lucky to win Game 3 on the draw, but this has been a good sign. I think that my opponent is considering whether they should just concede here. I think that they should, to be honest. Like, they're taking damage, or they're taking deck damage, as some of my friends like to say, from every time that they attack. Yeah, they're just conceding. They don't want to show me the rest of what's in their deck. I think that I definitely want Drown in the Loch over an Aether Gust there. I think that was a mistake. Other than that, I think I like what we did there. I think it's still possible that I want Engineered Explosives, but I think that we have enough 1-for-1 removal with the 8 Fatal Push effects and then these 3 2-drops that I'm fine just going with those. I think that 11 ways to interact with their creatures is probably going to be good enough. Something that my opponent could do, I don't know if it would be any good, but it might be necessary. I'm not really sure. is they could board in Rest in Peace in order to deal with my life gain cards. Sand is fine. It's nothing stellar if I'm being honest, but it's fine. So I'm gonna keep. Looks like they also kept 7. Wild Nacatl. Okay. I'm just gonna play Ruin Crab here. Hope that they don't have a way to kill this on turn 2. It's possible that I'm just supposed to fetch Shock and Bloodchief's Thirst this so I can be guaranteed a Ruin Crab trigger. I could see that being the case. Probably am, to be honest. What's this? Jeez, that's so bad. Alright. So yeah, now I'm just going to fetch and Bloodchief's Thirst this. Hopefully they fetch again at some point, I guess. Oh, wow. This is not good. Yeah, this is really not good. I need to draw a life gain card. I think that I might have messed up on that turn 1, but I'm not sure. Alright, if they ever crack that, then I can Archive Trap them. I'm going to play Mesmeric Orb, and something cool that we can do here is we can pick up our Oboro and replay it just for a landfall trigger. No attacks, because we might want to block a Haster. Alright, and now I do need to get a little bit lucky. I don't like them tapping red-white. Destructive Revelry, jeez. Okay. I wonder if Mesmeric Orb is even supposed to be in our deck. If I had seen Destructive Revelry in Game 2, I would have taken it out for sure. Okay, that's good. That lets us Archive Trap. But it means that they have 2 spells they want to cast this turn. What are they doing here? Oh, they're returning. I see. Turn Lurrus, Boros Charm me. Alright, so I'm probably just dead here. I'm going to need to draw something very good. That's not it. Yeah. My opponent can just replay an Eidolon here. And I can't even draw fetch lands to kill them with my 2 crabs. Yep. I guess I do have an out here. No, that's not actually an out. So I was thinking that I could, yeah, if I had one more crab in play, then I could just Oboro them twice and hope that they don't have anything to kill my crabs, but I'm just dead here. So a different play that I could have made on turn 1 was instead of playing crab, I could have fetch Shocked to just kill Wild Nacatl. And I still take the damage from that, but that guarantees that I get a trigger from my first Ruin Crab instead of it just dying to Searing Blaze on turn 1. So that's definitely something I could have done differently. I could have also thought more about whether or not to board in Mesmeric Orb. I think it was fine just because we also have Profane Memento that Revelry can hit, so it's never going to be completely dead, but I don't know. I think that my turn 1 play was a mistake. I think that leaving in Mesmeric Orb was fine, but definitely something that we got punished for. If I had gone... You know what? If I had played Maddening Cacophony the turn that my opponent had played... If I had gone Maddening Cacophony the turn that I played Mesmeric Orb, I would have won that game. So that was a big mistake. Yeah. But... So it goes. We live, we learn. This is only my second match with this deck, so definitely not going to make that mistake in the future. But, alright, we'll try to do a little bit better in round 3. See you then. Alright, hey there everybody. Here we are for round number 3 of this modern prelim with Mill. Opponent has also revealed Lurrus. Our hand is fine. It's not stellar, but I think that we're going to keep it. I think that having these 2 cards makes it okay. Opponent also revealed Lurrus, so it's possible that this graveyard hate's going to be good. Maybe we can surgical away one of their threats. But I could see being wrong about this. Giver of Runes. Okay, so this is the Hammer Time deck. Okay, not gonna be honest, not really sure how we should approach this matchup, but we'll see. Could be a little bit hard with this game 1 hand, but post board we do have our 8, our 8 fatal pushes, so opponent gets to go get an equipment with Stoneforge here. They get Colossus Hammer. We're going to mill them, and then hopefully we get a Colossus Hammer that we can then surgical. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. And now we can screenshot what their deck looks like. So let's see, what are we looking at here? Their hand is not great. It's just Pure Steel Paladin and a Silent Clearing. They have 1 copy of Cranial Plating, 1 copy of Shadow Spear, and then other than that, they're just kind of a crappy beatdown deck. So I'm feeling pretty good about this game now that Colossus Hammer is gone. That was really good. Alright, just going to play Mesmeric Orb here. Start milling them. We got a copy of Shadow Spear gone. That's good. It's probably going to return... They're probably going to put Lurrus in their hand here, if I had to guess. Yeah, that's what they do. Luckily, we do have this Soul Guide Lantern to just nuke their graveyard, so... Alright, here, I'm just going to get my own Lurrus back. We can start doing crab things next turn. And then we'll just use Soul Guide Lantern to pop their graveyard open and then hopefully put this game away. Of course, they will still, have Lurrus in play, and we're a mill deck. So they're still going to be able to... They're still going to be able to recur something that we mill over, but hopefully not too much. Okay. Hopefully we don't flip over their 1 copy of Cranial Plating, basically. Alright, so for right now, I think that we just want to recur our 1 copy of Soul Guide Lantern. We can play Ruin Crab with a fetch land next turn. Guess we'll just exile an island. This way, if they mill over something good, we can... I'd kind of rather they not play another Memnite. Alright, can't really block here just because then they can give it pro black or pro white, whichever they choose, and then I'll lose my Lurrus. I wouldn't want to lose my Lurrus. Alright, so just going to get Rune Crab here. And then I'm actually just going to use this to draw a card. Not the best. We'll just pass here. Uh-oh. Okay. So this is going to get a cranial plating. Luckily they can't equip cranial plating, and then next turn we'll be able to mill our opponent out. A lot of people playing this Hammer Time deck in Modern lately. Yeah, you don't have the mana to equip this, my friend. If you had played this Pure Steel Paladin in your hand, it would be a different story, but you haven't. No blocks here. We don't want to be trading Lurruses. Yep, so we're just going to play another Rune Crab. Play another land. And then that'll do it. They're going to mill 5 more cards on their upkeep. Of course, we still have these 2 lands, but we did get their game 1 on the back of Surgical Extraction. Who would have thought? So post-board, I'm going to bring in 2 more removal spells. I'm going to bring in Engineered Explosives, and I think I'm going to bring in Set Adrift. And I'm going to cut... I don't really want the Soul Guide Lanterns, I don't think. Yeah, it just doesn't seem very good. Obviously, it was fine for us that game, but it wasn't stellar. And then I think we can cut the Set Adrift. I don't think we necessarily need this. I think we've got enough removal spells. Leaving in all the Surgical Extractions just because of that case that we saw in that last game where we were able to Surgical Extraction their namesake card, which was really good for us. Alright, well, I'm going to keep this. If I'm being honest, it needs to draw black mana or we're not in a good spot, but if we do draw black mana, I think that we just win the game. You know, having 2 removal spells and 2 crabs is really strong. Oh boy, another Surgical Extraction? That's really good. That's what we like to see. Alright. Oh, well that's something. Okay, so we get to play this. Unfortunately, we did not hit a hammer, but there's still time, and then we can just kill the Giver of Runes. And then next turn, we can either Cacophony or Drown in the Loch something and be in pretty good shape. Shadow Spear, huh? Okay. Alright, well, they get to equip both of these to one of their creatures. I don't lose yet, but I do take a lot of damage here. Okay, thankfully they're equipping it to the wrong creature. That's really good for me. So I'm going to cast a Cacophony here. I'm going to Fatal Push Pure Steel Paladin. And what I'm going to do is... just going to take a look at their deck here. I'm actually going to, in their draw step, Surgical Pure Steel Paladin, just so that they're not able to equip Colossus Hammer for free to anything. So we're going to do that. We can get kind of punished here if our opponent has this Cranial Plating, but they don't have a land to equip it this turn. So I think that we're going to be alright. I hope we're going to be alright. They can probably Thoughtseize my Drowning Lock. Probably going to lose this game because they naturally drew their Cranial Plating. I still think that my play was right, though. I didn't want my opponent to be able to equip Hammer for free. Alright, they still need to draw a land this turn. So the last two cards are Colossus Hammer, Cranial Plating. Alright. Can you equip it? I should have put Lurrus in my hand. That was really bad. Okay, so you need to tap Ornithopter to equip it, sure, which means I'd still have a draw. If I draw a land here, then I just win. Probably shouldn't have fetched end of turn, given that that's the case. Alright, we got there. Alright, so we were able to successfully defeat the Colossus Hammer deck. And we're 2-1. So that was a fun match. Two kind of memey decks, but you know, we were able to come out on top of the meme war. I'll see you for round number 4. Hey there everyone, here for the 4th and final round of this modern prelim. Playing against Hall of Famer Willie Adel. Always fun to see a big name here in the queues. And we're looking at a pretty solid opening hand. I would expect Willie to be playing, yep, a Thoughtseize removal spell deck. Looks like something's getting Thoughtseized here. We'll see what. Wouldn't be surprised to see one of our crabs go. Alright, and I think I actually want to take this a little bit more slowly. I'm just going to pass here. And then this guarantees that we'll be able to get some mill value out of our Hedron Crab. It's obviously really bad against another Thoughtseize effect, but I think that that's a risk worth taking. We're getting punished for it here, but I think it's worth it in order to make sure that we get guaranteed value out of this Hedron Crab and just not get it fatal pushed on turn number 1. Obviously, we got punished for it, but we'll see if we can still make something out of this game. Savai Triome. Alright, well. Drew another copy of Hedron Crab, so I guess we're going to see what Willie's doing. I guess I'd better save targets here. Seasoned Pyromancer, huh? Alright. And then Fatal Push and Lightning Bolt. I don't think that I want to surgical any of those quite yet. Willie taking my crabs implies that he might not have a push or a bolt. Instead, he has a Blood Moon. Alright, well, we can... Luckily, we have a basic island, so we can beat a Blood Moon, but it'll be tough. Wondering if I should surgical anything at this point. I should probably surgical Liliana, but I don't know. Alright, and here we're just casting Maddening Cacophonies for the rest of the game, I guess. Magmatic Channel. What is this deck? That's so wild. Oh, Willie, please don't. I think I'm going to surgical in his draw step, get rid of his Seasoned Pyromancers, just so that he can't flash them back and start pressuring us. Or flash them back to, make tokens. Oh no, he's got a copy of Hazoret in hand? That's so bad. Alright, so let's see the rest of this deck. We got Blood Moons, we've got Kroxa, we've got a main deck copy of Cling to Dust. We've got Liliana's Magmatic Channelers. This is a strange deck. Well, this Hazoret puts us under a lot of pressure, unfortunately. Probably not going to be able to win the game with that in his hand. Yeah, so we've got 3 turns to draw something good here. Gonna hold this just because, we can always draw more crabs. If we draw a crab, that'll actually be really good. It'll basically be Time Walk. Other than that, I think that our only good draws left are like other copies of Maddening Cacophony. We've already used 2 of them. Alright, and here we're just dead. We're gonna get attacked for 5, and he can discard a card and shoot us for 2. So we're down a game here against the Hazoret strategy. I'm gonna bring in Ether Gusts. I'm gonna bring in Set Adrift, I think. I don't really want a whole lot else. Let's see. So against like Liliana of the Veil, I think I'd probably just want Drown in the Loch. Probably just want, Counterspell for Liliana's Blood Moons. And I actually think that we can cut some of our... I think that we can cut our Blood Sheep. I would rather cut Fatal Push than Blood Sheep's Thirst, actually, because Thirst can hit Liliana of the Veil. And then, why don't we cut 1 copy of Surgical Extraction? I think that's fine. Yeah, we'll keep this hand. This hand is capable of beating Blood Moon. I don't think... I think that I should just get Soul Guide Lantern in play here. I don't think that I should sit on this. It's possible I should wait just until my opponent puts a Kroxa or something like that in the graveyard. But if their hand kind of leans on Kroxa, I don't want it getting Thoughtseized. So my opponent is choosing between Ancestral Recall and Maddening Cacophony. Not really sure what they're going to take here. If they take Cacophony, I don't get to turn on Visions for a really long time. Alright, that one I'm willing to hold for a little while, until my opponent does put Kroxa into the graveyard. Honestly, I'll probably just crack this. Oh, jeez. Probably just crack this other Soul Guide Lantern this turn, just because I need to draw some gas here. Now the good news is that my opponent wasn't able to take my Archive Trap, and now I'll be able to get them with my Fetch Land. Wow, that is a lot of Soul Guide Lanterns. You'll have to fetch eventually. Blood Crypt there kind of implies that he's not Blood Mooning this turn. Interesting. So we're going to draw a card with Soul Guide Lantern. And we can cast Archive Trap. What is this? Can't be like Veil of Summer or anything, right? What are you doing? Oh, just doing it in response, I suppose. That makes sense. Alright, here I think that I should just put Lurrus in my hand and then have Lurrus be my plan for next turn. I don't have any crabs yet, but I can just recur these Soul Guide Lanterns. Jeez. Thoughtseize, that's fine. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to need to draw pretty well from here, if I'm being honest. I'm pretty far behind. Set Adrift is fine, I guess. Another one? This one's going to eat Cling to Dust. So we've just drawn all 4 of our Soul Guide Lanterns. Yeah. I'm just going to put that on top of their library and then cast Soul Guide Lantern. I'm just going to eat my own Set Adrift here. It's kind of a giveaway, if I'm being honest, that I drew Visions of Beyond. But I think that that's fine. I think that I just need this thing to be an Ancestral as soon as possible. Jeez. And now I'm just taking 4 from this Magmatic Channeler. Alright, here we go. That's a good one. And now we get to Field of Ruin his Blood Crypt, and then have this be a draw 3. Of course, we are still getting Kroxid here. We need to find a way to deal with that, which I don't know that we have. I guess if we draw Surgical here, that would be fine. Alright. The good news is that we can just gust this Kroxa and then hopefully draw something to get us going here. Well, that one's really good. We've got to gust that one, unfortunately. So Croaks is going to come down. We do have to discard our Blood Chief's Thirst so that we just don't die. But so it goes. I think that we're kind of out of it here. We need to draw Visions of Beyond just into something really good. We didn't, so we're going to lose, unfortunately. But hey, that happens. Alright, see you in a minute for the breakdown. Alright, so we wound up 2-2 in that prelim. Not the best result, not really the result we were looking for, but definitely learned a lot about the deck. And I think that there could be something really powerful here. We honestly didn't play against very many tier decks that we're hoping to run into. We didn't play against the Death Shadows or, you know, the Green-White Titans of the world. But I think that those are still solid matchups and are still going to be prevalent in the Weekend Challenge and PTQ events that I'm looking to attack right now. So we were able to win the Milmir against my friend Kyle. We learned that Archive Trap is definitely one of the more powerful cards in that matchup. We were able to beat Hammer Time through some timely surgical extractions and then just a lot of removal spells. And then we lost to QB Turtle 15 on Zoo and to Willie Adel on that Red-Black Moon deck. I think that the big takeaways are I need to play tighter, if I'm being honest. We could have won that round 2 if I had known which 2 drop to play between Maddening Cacophony and Mesmeric Orb, but that's just something that's going to come with time and with reps, and I think that had I been a little bit more knowledgeable, we could have come away winning that match. As for the Blood Moon deck, sometimes, you know, I think that Willie Adel just had our number. You know, could definitely, like, test that matchup out and see if there's different cards we could play to improve it, but I also don't think that that's something we're going to be running into a whole lot. So going forward, some things that I would think about changing in this deck are mostly sideboard slots. I'm not super impressed with this copy of Set Adrift or the Engineered Explosives. It just feels like those could be more powerful things, and I would like to just have more copies of Drown in the Loch. I think that Drown in the Loch is just so incredible in this deck, and we want it in a lot of different matchups. So I would try to get as many of those into our sideboard as we can. I know that my teammate Zach has been posting some videos of this deck recently, but it's a little bit of a different style. He's got... what does he have? It was Into the Story that he's playing. And so I also really want to give Zach's version with Into the Story a try. It's also got Cling to Dust, one of my favorite modern cards, and see if that does well. I know that he posted a video of that pretty recently, so if you enjoyed this one, definitely check that one out too. And I think that those are, you know, things that I think that that's how I would try to change this deck going forward. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think so. I'm going to keep testing it, and obviously, you know, it's kind of near the top of my list along with Green-White Titan for the PTQ this Sunday. So I'm going to keep testing. Let me know down in the comments what you would think. Whose version do you think is better? This is the X-Will version that I got from Will Kruger or Zach's. Just let me know which you would play, and maybe that'll help me make my decision on Sunday. I'll see you next time.
I'm joined by Kyle Balgamase. Welcome, Kyle.
How are you?
Raja Suleiman with Orzhov.
Max McVitie.
Congratulations, Brian DeMars. Zach Allen.
I wouldn't be here without these guys, though. So.
And the champion of Proto Counter-Attack, Arilax.